Președintele Volodimir Zelenski s-a întâlnit astăzi cu șefii instituțiilor ucrainene în cadrul Forumului Ucraina 2025. Discuțiile de la Kiev au loc cu doar o zi înaintea împlinirii a 3 ani de război. Jurnalista Euronews Sasha Vaculina se află la Kiev și ne aduce mai multe detalii.
We're expecting to hear from the heads of institutions here in Ukraine, also Ukrainian authorities, and President Zelensky himself. You know, I have to say, coming here to Kiev exactly 3 years since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, there is certain resemblance in terms of the atmosphere, and that is, of course, because of the tensions with Washington and the statements by Donald Trump when he called Zelensky a dictator, when he's insisting on holding the elections during the martial law. So there is this very tense and heavy atmosphere. At the same time, what I believe we're going to hear more about from the Ukrainian authorities and President Zelensky is that although indeed the situation is complicated for Ukraine, but it's not as complicated as it was here 3 years ago. And therefore, as President Zelensky said earlier, if we did not go for a compromise 3 years ago and did not just allow Russia to invade Ukraine, Ukraine is not going to do that now, 3 years later. European support to Ukraine these days is absolutely vital, and this is not overestimating it. But at the same time, it's interesting because what I've been seeing is a very much of a two-way street when it comes to Ukraine and the European Union. I would say that the cooperation between the two sides is vital for both sides. And this is what we've been hearing from the European authorities, but also from Ukrainian authorities. Of course, all of the commission led by Ursula von der Leyen is going to be here in Kiev tomorrow to show their support. I think it's honest to say that Ukrainians are rather shocked by what they hear these days from the new administration in the United States, from the president himself and his team. This does feel a lot to the Ukrainians as a betrayal here, because after 3 years of the constant support and also the statements about the United States being Ukraine's strongest ally, to hear now that Ukraine is practically being pushed and forced into huge concessions, and some of the demands like the elections, for example, during the martial, which is forbidden by Ukraine's constitution, do sound too much here for Ukrainians. But at the same time, what we do hear a lot here on the ground in Ukraine is that Ukrainians do not wish to make those concessions. They do not wish to give all of the medals on the deal where the conditions for Ukraine and the guarantees for Ukraine are not clear.